Chest up, shoulders back. This is Revival Fitness, your home for gains and brains. And this video has popped up in my feed so many times now, over 1 million views. Time to react to it. It's called Why I Look Terrible After 8 Years of Lifting by Paulo Guga. And I'm sure there's going to be some things that we can take from this video.
I started lifting 8 years ago, and this, look at my physique. This is disgusting. What is this?
Okay, so to play into his sarcasm, he does have the body hair that is not completely filled in everywhere, so that does not look as sightly. And he's got some neck hair going too, it looks like. You gotta trim that neckline up, my guy. He kinda looks like a sheep that's about to get sheared.
What the hell is even that?
Great meme.
I kill myself in training. How is it possible that I can look this bad?
We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plates per side, and then a 35 as well. I can't do this off the top of my head, hold on. Okay, so if my math is correct, this is 565 pounds. The most I've pulled is 545. I've not deadlifted in like 1.5 years at this point. I don't know what this guy weighs exactly, but his body weight multiplier, I think undoubtedly, is very, very good. It may be near or even at about 3 times body weight. So right off the bat, something that him and I have in common, beyond being good at the deadlift, and I'd say we have pretty good facial hair genetics too, we have put a lot of time into the gym. 8 years for him, for me, I believe it's 9 this year. And when we talk about the length of training too, we have to really take into account the length of consistent time. Because anybody can make time to go to the gym and do some exercises, get in and out, but in terms of pure, consistent, hard effort for that entire time, that's an entirely different ballgame. Oftentimes, life is going to get in the way. A lot of guys get job opportunities that take up a ton of their time. They may get married, they have kids, and if you are a married man, you want to show off your commitment to your woman with a ring on your finger. But if you have tried going to the gym with a typical wedding band on, you know that it's very hard. And even if you're somebody like me that is not married, if you like to wear rings for style, it's also not easy to do when lifting weights. But then I found the Groove Zeus ring. Something that I can wear every day, no matter where I go, and especially during hard training. You don't have to worry about this ring getting banged up or in the way while you lift. It doesn't matter if you're gripping handles, machines, barbells, dumbbells, or even a pull-up bar. This ring is built to last, and it's going to stay right in place. It's flexible but durable at the same time. It has a tough inner coating, but a smooth exterior, so it's easy to take on and off, but once you have it on, it is not going anywhere. It's got a very sleek look to it. You can see the one I have is the thin version. You can also get a thicker version if you'd like, and there's a number of colors that can fit any style or preference. I put this on after my shower this morning. I've had it on all day, while I work, while I train, since I got home. I forgot that I was wearing it. And really, that's one of the biggest benefits. And beyond even the gym, I know a lot of you guys work jobs that are manual labor, very intensive on the hands, so no matter the scenario, the Groove Zeus ring is an excellent pickup. If you want to check it out, be sure to click the link at the top of the description box down below.
There's teenagers on TikTok who look better than me.
If I'm not mistaken, little Poindexter here claims natural, or at least he used to. It just is what it is at this point. Everybody's natural.
The reason why I look bad isn't so obvious. It isn't because my training sucks or my genetics are terrible. Once you figure it out, not only will you cure your own body dysmorphia, but you'll see the entire fitness industry in a new light. At the end of the video, I'll give you a test to figure out whether you're actually small or if it's just your messed up body image.
It could very well be both.
Like most lifters, my body dysmorphia can change drastically. One moment I look like Superman, and the next I'm disgusted.
Just yesterday, I went to the sauna at one gym, and I got out of the sauna, and I was in pretty good lighting, and I caught myself in the mirror. I was like, holy shit. Like, I was kind of blown away by my own progress. Like, I had never kind of seen myself in the mirror and had that reaction before, at least not for a long time. And then I get home a few hours later, and I get out of the shower, and I look at myself in the bathroom mirror, and I'm like, dude, you should just stop lifting.
Still, we must answer the question, why do I look so bad when I've been lifting for so long? Lighting is the first of many factors which will obviously make a huge difference. I purposely tried to find the worst location for these videos. I'm doing the opposite of every influencer.
I like that he's paying respects to the brofessor. Dom came before all of us. He, well, avoided using his legs, so I can't say that he walked so we could run. But he was the forefather to all of this. But on the topic of lighting, that is one of the aspects that really brings out the true physiques from those that are more only good when it comes to the ideal scenario. There's plenty of people that, once you get their physique in the general environment, it's nothing like you've seen online. So if you can get to the point that you are standing out noticeably in general candid scenarios, that's when you know that you're really getting somewhere. And especially to the general public, once you get to that point, like you clearly are standing out in crowds, just walking down the street, even just on the general gym floor, without posing or flexing or anything, you are pretty freaking big.
These pictures were taken 1 minute apart, and it looks like I lost 20 pounds of fat.
I wouldn't say 20 pounds, but I get your point.
The way you position your body makes a huge difference. Posing is all about illusion, smoke and mirrors. Maybe you press your arms against your rib cage. Maybe you slightly twist to the side for a smaller waist. Maybe you flex so hard you nearly give yourself a stroke.
Without question, and you can see this in his original thumbnail, I believe he does this intentionally, the hardest way to look good is when you take a directly facing the camera front shot. Your body is as wide as it's going to be from the front. You don't have the benefit of the taper that you get from the back view. Your arms are going to look as small as they can. I mean, even people with very big arms, if you catch them just directly from the front, unless they're really posturing and flexing. I brought this up before. Some guys have asked me in the comments, how come my arms don't look big from the front? They're not supposed to. You'll notice that all the content you see when people's arms are the focus, they're always going to be flexing in some form. Maybe they're mid-curl or something like that. You're never going to see somebody post themselves just head-on directly, unless it's like a bodybuilder doing a check-in. And even then, like I mentioned, the same bodybuilder that has the craziest looking arms you've seen in the previous reel, their new post is a general check-in photo. Their arms look half the size.
You're trying to look your best in that moment, but it's not indicative of your actual physique.
Is this an anime character on the phone here, big guy?
This is so common in the fitness industry. Of course, you're also going to get a boost just from the pump. Think about this. We've normalized hiding your physique, aka using a pump cover, so no one has to know what you look like in a normal state.
I see people in the gym all the time. Even right now, it's the middle of summertime. It's hot as hell outside. They come in the gym with the massive oversized t-shirt. Both men and women do this as well. You know, the girls wear the long shirts that cover up their ass cheeks, then I guess they get their glute pump, and then they take it off, or they wear the big sweatpants, then they take those off too. The guys will get their pump, oftentimes with the arms, then the pump cover comes off. Part of it, I guess, is a meme, but realistically, I mean, why are you keeping that on in the first place? Maybe it's just a personal preference thing. Some people like to so-called get warm with layers on as they start training. I just go in, if I have a jacket on, I take it off, and that's it. I just started my tank top. I wear a tank top myself because I sweat through everything. I don't like to wear sleeves if I don't have to, but this is something that I don't really think about, and I definitely should. Like, if I thought more about the pump and getting pictures and videos right as I have a pump, I'd have better content. I probably would have more followers on Instagram, especially if I had all this stuff to post. For me, I just don't think about training that way. Like, I like to get my sets done, then take a rest, then do the next one, then just kind of move on with the workout. I don't like to think about flexing and posturing and stuff while I'm training. Like I said, I definitely should do that, given what I do now, but that's just kind of outside of my mentality when I'm training. But people that take endless pictures and videos of themselves, especially when it comes to Instagram, you have to be on this all the time. It also helps if you've got somebody with you, recording you, and the biggest influencers, they have a cameraman with them, and then they also have the excellent editing on top of that.
If you get used to only seeing yourself with a pump posing in gym lighting, then you're not going to like the way you look in a regular state. And finally, body fat percentage. Having a high body fat is like wearing a thick blanket that covers you up. The fatter you are, the more smooth and rotund you'll look, even if you have a lot of muscle hiding underneath.
In terms of general sustainability for the average guy, getting to mid-teens or even up to 20% or so body fat is far more sustainable and more comfortable than low teens or even 10% or so. I mean, most guys that want to get to 10%, realistically, they're not ever going to get there. That's just the reality of the situation, or it's going to take excruciating effort to do so. But the more muscle that you build, the more lean that you will look at higher and higher body fats. I mean, we can look at Eddie Hall right here. If I had to guess, I'd probably say high 20s, 30% or so body fat. He could be even more. But this guy is so muscular, it gives the illusion that he's leaner. I mean, you can even see there is visible abs. As faint as they might be given his body fat, they are there, even with this amount of fat on top of him. So for the average guy, getting to the point that you've got visible abs in the mid-teens up to 20% or even a little bit above body fat. Yet again, that is a undeniable sign that you are yoked. Some guys I know get lucky with the ab genetics. They could be skinny as a rail. They have visible abs. They might not be that big. They've got visible abs. If that's you, I mean, good for you. That's awesome. Most guys, though, don't have it that way.
All of this is how I made you think I have a shitty physique. I basically did what everyone else in the fitness industry does, but in reverse. Can you guess who this guy is?
Looks like Larry Wheels to me.
It's Larry motherfucking Wheels.
Uh-huh.
Obviously, it's a terrible angle. He's super bloated, blah, blah, blah. But that is Larry Wheels. It just goes to show, if you can take a really good picture of yourself, you can take a really bad one too. With experience, you'll develop the skill of making educated guesses.
Yeah, this right here is a great example of what I mentioned earlier. Now, to be fair, I don't know if David Lade here is off cycle or whatever. You know, I don't know what his whole history with that is or if he admits to being on or not. I don't keep up with all this stuff that much. I put up the example of Alex Eubank all the time because it's just the one I have available and it's very apparent. But you see Alex Eubank, people will take pictures of him in the gym candidly, and he looks pretty pedestrian, and he's clearly built, and he's jacked. But then you see him from these random pictures people take, and it's like, oh, that guy looks like shit. Then you see him in the really edited pictures, and he looks like a great god. And even so here with David Lade, I mean, let's just take a look at this, right? He's got wide shoulders. I mean, you can see even in this blurry picture, he's got clear trap muscles up here. The arms, man, when it comes to arms, dude, like, what most guys envision when they think of big arms in their head is just so far off of what they're actually going to be able to obtain. Even once they get close to it in many years of training, it's still not going to be anything like you think. Like, guys have this idea, like it's anchor arms from SpongeBob. They think their arms are going to look just giant and pumped and full and even vascular just all the time from any angle. You'll have to learn this for yourselves, guys, but that's just not how this works. Now, the shirt's looking relatively big too, so I mean, his chest isn't really sticking out, but he is hunched over, so how could it really? Unless you've got Arnold-sized pecs. Then he's got on the long pants. You can't see a lot of leg muscles. Even people with big legs, if they are in sweatpants, especially dark-colored sweatpants, oftentimes it looks like they skip legs. Then they take them off. They have massive tree trunk quads. Now, that said, even guys that take steroids and a lot of steroids, the same thing applies to them. Like, guys have an idea that if someone takes gear in any amount, but especially a lot of it, that they just look like a massive freak show and vascular and crazy all the time. They have the mental concept that these guys look like the ideal scenario, all the things he just listed. Guys think that people on steroids look like that all the time, no matter the scenario. The same things apply. Like photo and video manipulation, no matter who is the subject, it makes every single person look better.
You'll see a really good photo of someone, and you can kind of extrapolate what their true physique looks like.
Inflation is causing stress. Bad news about prices in the grocery store.
Historically high inflation.
I started lifting back when the Cavs were NBA champions.
2016? Yeah, that's around when I did, I think. That's when LeBron went back, right? Maybe a bit after that? I don't watch a lot of NBA. I still think of Rajon Rondo on the Celtics when I think of NBA. That's how far removed I am. Now, I know those of you that do watch sports in this space, it's usually football, or as we call it here in America, soccer. Most of you, though, I know don't care about sports. You only care about anime.
Which means I've been viewing fitness content for a long time. I've noticed a concerning trend on the rise, and it's starting to get talked about more and more. Physique inflation refers to the rising body standards in social media.
This is something I've talked about before, too. I've got more than one video about this subject.
To the point where a great physique 10 years ago can be considered average or even bad by today's standards. Someone will post a video and say that they've been lifting for X years. Inevitably, they'll get a whole bunch of comments like this.
Yeah, these are inevitable, man. I mean, I don't use TikTok really at all, but YouTube, I'd say it's not as bad. There's going to be some amount of it. Instagram, though, dude, the brain rot on Instagram is off the charts. I don't know what it is about Instagram specifically, but it might be worse than Reddit. Like, I've talked about how terrible Reddit is and how it's just endless conjecture and people trying to be funny. Instagram is just people being angry and just putting down everything they see and really getting defensive and a lot of projection and really just stupidity. So I guess the question is, what is worse, Instagram or Reddit? That's a really good matchup, isn't it? I can even say for myself on Instagram reels I put up, people don't even watch beyond 3 seconds. It's a complete dumpster fire. So of course I like to pour gasoline on it as much as I can.
In reality, this guy has a physique better than 99% of the population. If he got a pump and posed under some good lighting, these same people would be complimenting him. I think anyone can look good if they train consistently for a long time and always try to learn more. In just 1 to 5 years of lifting, you can basically surpass every normal person that doesn't train.
If you get your noob gains out of the way, and if you train intelligently and effectively from day one, which most guys don't, I didn't either, be sure to check out my training programs, as well as my nutrition guide, by the way, and check my links down below too to get in contact with me if you are struggling right now. I get lifters out of novice purgatory professionally, all kind of testimonials on my site if you want to check those out too. But once you get your noob gains out of the way, you're already bigger than almost everybody else. Like in the general setting, you are one of the biggest people. You get to the point of like late intermediate to advanced, just roughly speaking, you're one of the biggest people, undoubtedly, anywhere that you go. Unless you go to like a serious strength or bodybuilding type gym, or a competition, every normal person whose mind is not totally warped by the fitness industry and all this content, they see you and they're like, that guy is jacked. And of course, I'm sure that your mom has already told you, your friends have told you, maybe your girlfriend has told you, like people around you have told you this already, but you don't believe them. You listen to a bunch of 16-year-olds in the comment section with anime avatars. And if you're wondering, yes, I will continue to roast anime. Just a quick aside too, I'm totally on my soapbox now, but I find it very, very funny how a lot of the natural zealots who talk about realistic expectations and standards, they all love anime and all those anime physiques, which if they were real people, they would require tons of PEDs to achieve that look. But then they see actual people that take steroids and they get mad at them. Yeah, make that make sense.
But even among the top 5%, if you continue to grind in the gym, eventually you'll become an extreme outlier.
Nope.
Does every guy have the potential genetically to become an extreme outlier? No, they don't. That does not mean that you cannot look good and far better than you currently do. But in terms of getting to like the upper 90th percentile, even with years and years of effort, genetically speaking, a lot of guys just don't have that in their cards. Get mad at me if you want, I'm just telling you the truth. And simply using some basic logic here, what I said is intuitively correct. If every single person had the potential to be in the high 90th percentile, then that would mean that everybody has excellent genetics. And that's obviously not the case.
And yet, many of us choose to watch the influencers that have the top 0.00001% physique.
Well, of course, I mean, they're going to stand out and get attention by default, because that's what outliers do when it comes to any field. The most extreme examples always get the most eyeballs, for better or for worse.
They'll only post videos under good lighting, and many of them take drugs. And that's why you'll get comments like this about a guy who objectively has a good physique.
Yeah, I mean, comments like this, bro trained 1 day per year. God, it's always the skull emoji, or the dead rose emoji, or the crying emoji. This is how you know they've got no experience of their own, or perhaps very, very little experience, because it's just ignorant to a degree that is laughable. Dunning-Kruger syndrome. It's off the charts with everything now, and social media lets people find other people with the same problem, and they just gas each other up and amplify each other's stupidity.
If you put 1,000 random men in a room with this guy, very few would look better than him. Never forget, fitness influencers decide what they show you. They're always going to post videos that paint them in a good light. Literally.
Literally, yes, we know. You didn't have to say it. But I see here we have this girl. I see the flower shoulder tattoo. I've warned you boys before. If you meet a girl with a flower shoulder tattoo, run. Don't ask questions. Oh, but bro, no. Get out of there now. And in her case, it looks like it's turning into a full sleeve. I mean, the more tattoos, I think in general, the worse that it is. But even just one single flower there, guys, it's going to blossom into more flowers. The garden is going to grow. And I can make a joke there about a tool used in a garden, but I won't.
Very rare for people to post a genuinely candid photo. Simply put, it's bad for business. Even for me, it's actually very hard to show you some of these pictures. It hurts. Feels like I'm losing credibility. But this is how everyone looks when they're relaxed and bulked up. It's not just me. Because of physique inflation, people who used to be considered jacked are now small. I remember 5 or 6 years ago, Jeff Nippard used to be known as the super buff natty that you can aspire to look like if you max your genetics. Today, in 2025, he's got the reputation of being like the small guy that gives good advice.
That depends on who you ask, mainly. I mean, I think the blowback to Jeff is just primarily because he tends to push the science-based thing to a level that is kind of laughable. I did this reaction to his 1-year experiment with his brother, and there was a lot of errors that he made throughout that entire video and that entire process. Somebody as science-minded as him, with his credentials and his, just ranking and the esteem he holds, kind of disappointing. That said, though, so many guys with, MDs, PhDs, masters, all these credentials, they do this all the time. So I think that's more the thing with Jeff. But I don't know about this. I mean, I think most people realistically would agree that he's built.
And what about Omar Isuf?
Is Omar still around? I haven't heard from him in a long time. What's he doing?
I remember in 2018, he was getting fake natty accusations. In 2025, if you accused him of being fake natty, you would get laughed out the room. It's just crazy how quick things can change. If your feed is constantly showing you the best physiques in the world, your body dysmorphia might get worse.
So let's try this one first.
Hey, there's my friend Juji Mufu. I don't know who this guy is. If you spend time with the biggest people in person, and the freakiest, you're probably going to skew your perception in some form. Like, it's very hard, regardless of who you are and how mentally strong you may be. It's hard to be around people that all have reached a given level of size or leanness or whatever. And this can apply to any other field too. If you are around the highest percentile of people, you're going to sort of organically want to get at least closer to them. And at a certain point, you have to do what you have to do to reach that highest percentile.
You spend most of your day outside the gym. You're not going to be posing under good lighting with a pump 24/7. This means your body fat will be the most important factor in determining how good you look.
He's right about that. When it comes to general candid scenarios, as I talked about earlier, the leanness is going to be the biggest thing you can have working in your favor, because even people that are not terribly muscular, they can look more muscular than they are. And the illusion, it's not only on photos and videos, it's simply with the eyes as well.
If you are very lean, you'll look your best shirtless or wearing a tank top. The downside is when you do put on clothes, you might not even look like you lift.
That right there is exactly why it's so funny when these guys all talk about wanting to stay lean all the time. A lot of the looks maxers are very big on this too. They go at me on Instagram all the time. They say lean is law, you have to be lean. But then they jump to, oh, well, being lean, you don't want to be obese. Who said obese? So I get the concept, especially for guys that carry more fat in their face, and they look better when they're leaner. But even so, getting to a legitimately lean point, like getting close to 10% body fat as a man, that's not only extremely difficult just to do, it's also difficult to maintain, and you probably are not going to like how you look once you get there, unless you've already built a bunch of muscle mass over years. And guess what? To build all that muscle mass in most cases, you're going to have to bulk. You're going to have to be at periods of higher body fat and not like how you look to eventually like how you look at the low body fat. Or you could do like so many guys do. I made the same mistake whenever I was younger. You always want to stay lean and you chase lean, and you have the idea that you can recomposition or main gain forever and just get leaner and leaner and build a bunch of muscle. Well, let me know how that goes for you.
Especially if you get under 10%. If your shirts are a little baggy, you might literally look like a regular dude. But when you're bulked up, that's when you'll look really, really massive in a t-shirt.
Not only that too, for the majority of women, they prefer the guy that has more body fat, around like this amount he's got right here, compared to the body fat percentage that he just showed us. And guys still don't believe that, and they say that I'm lying and I'm coping, and women lie about this too, bro. I have another video about this coming up very shortly. It may be out already by the time you see this one. I have other ones in the past as well. But the idea as well that women only like lean guys, it's just simply not accurate. Yet again, a bunch of teenagers with their V-card will try to lecture everybody about this subject. They have no idea. Just more Dunning-Kruger.
The downside here is that you'll have less definition when you do take your shirt off. If you do have a lot of muscle though, that fat will be spread over a large area and give you that bear mode physique, which I think looks really good.
That goes back to what I mentioned as well. Once you have a lot of muscle mass, upwards of 20% or even higher body fat is still going to look good on a lot of guys. So guys who are still in the novice phase, or like maybe early intermediate, they still have a lot of muscle left to build, especially those in the novice phase. And they hear guys like me or this guy talk about, oh, well, you can look good at like 20% or so bulked up. And they say, how could that be possible, bro? I look like a fat slob. You don't have any muscle mass. Muscle is what makes or breaks this entire scenario. For most guys, at least at some point in their training journey, you're going to have to bulk and gain body fat, and you want to keep it as lean as you reasonably can, of course. That said, You're going to have to gain some to get some timely results in terms of the muscle growth. Do you want to take 10 years teetering on lean the entire time to build the muscle that you could build in 2 to 3 years if you just gain some body fat?
I just finished a 2-year bulk, so that's my current physique.
Yeah, I mean, I've had bulks on here that have lasted 1.5 years each. I've been bulking since last summer, so just over a year at the time of this recording. You know, I think I'm going to bulk until 2027. I don't know if I'm going to do that for sure, but I'm really considering it. That would be a 2.5-year bulk in total. Then I'll probably compete again. I'm thinking if I want to compete again and if I really want to have a chance, just given my frame, I'm very lanky. I have a lot to fill out. I'm not even that tall, but just in terms of limb length, it's a lot. It takes a lot of time. So I'm thinking if I go until 2027, I think we'll have a good shot.
If I look at myself in the mirror with bad lighting, I'm absolutely disgusted. Hence the title of this video. But if you catch me in good conditions, even at the peak of my bulk, I don't look half bad.
You can see what I mentioned a moment ago too. He does have some faint ab lines here. I mean, they're not sharp at all. And yeah, this physique will get called fat, slovenly. Oh, DYEL looks like shit by all of the teenagers in the comment section. Even though you can see, clearly he's got big traps. He's got shapely delts. He's got big arms. His forearms are big. His chest is built. The chest for a lot of guys carries a good amount of fat too, so that does not look as good when bulking in most cases. And he's got the body hair covering it too. That also hurts aesthetics. Very suboptimal posing and everything. It looks like he just took this on his camera too, on his phone. I mean, for a typical guy, right? 8 years of muscle mass at this body fat in these conditions, this is not surprising. And we saw him deadlift 565 earlier, I believe. If you look at his level of muscle mass here and are like, oh, there's no way he could deadlift that much, this level of muscle mass translates to that. We can't really even see his legs, or at least I can't remember seeing his legs much so far, but if you're deadlifting 565, you've got well-developed legs too, at least to some extent.
Take a picture of your arm.
You want to take a picture of my arm? Why do you want to take a picture of my arm?
Because it's the skinniest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Oh my god.
Many lifters eventually get to a point where they ask themselves, do I actually look like I lift? I'm going to give you an easy test to objectively know whether or not you look good. You don't even have to do anything to start the test. Just go out into the world and live your life.
You gotta go touch grass? Who wants to do that?
Compliments are the best indicator that you look good.
Yeah, I like that. And I brought this up earlier too. You're going to be getting comments from normal people in your day-to-day life. Family, friends, coworkers, classmates, even sometimes random people will tell you. I mean, guys, I think back to whenever I was in college. I was still a novice by my own metrics. And girls would tell me, oh my god, I like your shoulders, I like your arms. My arms were probably like 13.5 or 14 inches. Maybe. But that is enough to stand out in the general public. And maybe this kind of goes against the grain of this video, but the general public standard at this point is so low that to look good, it doesn't take a whole lot.
Because if you really truly have a great physique, people will tell you about it. But it's not that simple because there's levels to it. At the bottom of the hierarchy are compliments from your friends and family. These are people who love you and want you to succeed. Compliments from this group will only inform you that you look better relative to before.
Something I have heard guys say, though, is that their family oftentimes is not going to be supportive of them. Like, they'll get on them for eating the same foods, going to the gym so much. When it comes to my own experience, I mean, it was never really opposition to it. It's just the same jokes over and over. Are you eating chicken again? It's like, yes. Oh, you having more eggs and beef? It's like, you know I'm going to eat this every day. Do you have to comment every single day? Can you get some new material ever? But especially in the short term, because the friends and family see you very consistently, they can even notice these changes in brief increments of time. And the closer to novice that you are, the more that you will, or should be, making noticeable visual changes in a short amount of time.
So if you were skinny and now you're slightly less skinny, your friends and family will be the first to notice it.
He says 4 months into lifting was getting lots of compliments from friends and family. I don't know what he looked like when he was totally new, but I'm sure he has some noob gains going. I mean, you can see he still has the traps here. He's got some capping on the delts. His chest is filled out. This is going to be noticeable to general people. It's like if you ever see certain celebrities or actors or musicians, they hit the gym for a little bit of time, and it's nothing remarkable, but the general public is like, oh my god, he's so big, he's so jacked, he's starting to look like a bodybuilder. And then from the fitness perspective, you're like, he's making some noob gains.
But that doesn't mean you're objectively jacked. Next are your casual connections, like your coworkers, acquaintances, or neighbors. These are people that you might see on a semi-frequent basis, but you don't really have a relationship with them. So if they randomly start complimenting your physique, you can be confident that, like, no, you kind of built something.
I mean, I've had a number of jobs in my life, oftentimes at like restaurants, communications degree, that's what you do. But I can think of coworkers even. I mean, I was a novice once again in this example, and one of my coworkers was like, I could tell that you lifted. I was like, really? Then fast forward going into like the more intermediate stage that I would call it, I'd get compliments from coworkers more at that point. Even some of the women that you work with, like they'll notice it on you too, they'll compliment you. It happens more and more that the more you kind of stand out. Now, if you work at a gym or somewhere where there's a lot of buff people, I'd say it's less common there, but pretty much anywhere else, by the time you are firmly intermediate, you are like the big guy in any place.
The tippy top of the hierarchy is getting compliments from strangers and old people.
I like how he includes old people as their own demographic.
Strangers obviously don't know you, they don't care about you, so if your physique makes enough of an impression for them to verbalize it, dude, you've made it. Old people are a great indicator because they're gonna die soon. They don't have time for bullshit.
That's an interesting point. Or do they have so much dementia that they just think you're somebody else that they saw before?
An old person who's not related to you gives you a compliment. Bro, you've completed gym.
Old guys at the gym, I think, especially do this. I mean, a guy came up to me the other day. I wouldn't say he's old, probably like in his 40s, but I was using the SSB. If you don't know what that means, you're definitely a novice. But he just walks up right after my set. I'm exhausted. He's like, so how's that feel compared to the normal bar? And I was like explaining it to him. He's like, I might have to try it out. It's like, did he come up to me because I was using the safety squat bar? Maybe. But or was it because I look how I look and he probably keeps kind of looking over like, oh, that guy's pretty big. I should talk to him. And even going beyond old people, I mean, a lot of guys in the gym, this is like that meme. You expect a bunch of women to talk to you. It's a bunch of guys that talk to you. But gym bros might come up to you, ask you for advice. And even if they don't come up to you directly, if you sort of pay attention, you can see the people that are glaring at you. And oftentimes it's not going to be women like you want. It's going to be other gym bros. But you can see some of the younger guys just kind of keep looking at you over and over. That's essentially their way of complimenting you because they're just getting distracted by your physique for their entire workout. And maybe the best part of all with the older guys is after they compliment you on the gym floor, you go back to the locker room, then you get to see their balls. Then you can walk up to him and be like, hey, nice balls, how'd you get those? But shout out to our guy here. He made some very good points in this video. And this is something, as a young lifter especially, it takes time to overcome the body dysmorphia and be more comfortable with yourself, especially at higher body fats. It's a journey. It's not going to happen overnight. But check out some of my content and get in direct contact with me down below if you want to discuss this and your training journey one-on-one. But this has been it for me, guys. Thank you for watching. Be sure to check out Groove, the Zeus ring, down below. Check out my training programs and my nutrition guide. Stop wasting your precious time in the gym and in the kitchen. Get where you want to go much faster than I did with the right information. I made the mistakes, so you don't have to. And I will catch you guys next time.